everybody, thanks for being here again today. So today what I've got for you is another short little video that I have used for myself that I have found to be very powerful. It just kind of came to me in the last few weeks. It's actually a drawing that you can use, an exercise you can use to visualize where you're placing your energy. So it was really powerful for me, so I thought I would share it with you, and it showed up on a walk for me that I should do this for myself and that I should also then share with you. What I'm going to do is I will do an intro here real quick, and then I'm going to jump up and I'm going to actually draw on a chart, and I'm going to show you how to do this little exercise. Super simple. Most everything I do is super simple. I just like to boil it down to very organic, not big complex processes in this awakening journey. So hopefully you'll take something away from this that you can use for yourself and really visualize what we're talking about today. So I'm Carolyn, I'm a channel, I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor. And I offer these channeled pieces for your awakening and your ascension journey. So I hope you enjoy this today and take something away. Like I say, take what resonates for you and toss the rest aside. That's the whole idea behind this journey, right? We're learning, we're growing, and we take the things that make sense to us, and then we put that into the puzzle of our own journey. So if you're interested in more free content, in addition to the YouTube videos that I do, you can check out my email list. Just go to my website, purplerainhealing.com, or go to the description box below where you're going to find a link that will take you to more free content. Weekly, I will send you out an email of support. It's a channeled message from the Light Keepers to support you in the week forward. So that's what I use my email list for. Every Friday I send that out. And if you'd like to get more free content, a beautiful message for yourself moving forward in the new week, join me there too. So before we get started on the actual little exercise that I'm going to do for you guys, I just want to briefly update. So this is the 9th. I'm hoping this goes out on the full moon or right around there, or before, I don't know. But needless to say, you'll get it this week. And of course, as we know, Lionsgate peak was the 8th on Monday. So just a quick energy update. We're actually in this gap right now. This is interesting. It's what they're showing me is, as you remember with the energy update from August, Lionsgate was like we just were shooting off into this tunnel, and they also used the washing machine metaphor for August. That Lionsgate was the tunnel we were going to go through, and it was going to spit us out. I'm not going to go through that all again, but anyway, the point in that is oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you, in the last week, interestingly, I have personally felt very physically, I'll just say, off. Now, a lot of people notice energies either through their emotions and or their physical body. I tend to be one who notices through the physical body, not so much emotionally, okay? But there are a lot of people right now that have had really stressful, tremendous emotional, I'll just say, clearings in this last week, particularly this weekend and then yesterday. Again, this is Tuesday the 9th. So this energy is extending out. This is all about going to this next level, to riding that wave. Remember what I said in the washing machine? And depending on where we're at in our journey, how much work we've done, it's going to depend on how we, go through that spin cycle, as they said. A lot of people have had a lot of struggling emotions. Others have had a lot of physical issues. I tend to process physically, and what I noticed is starting last week, everything in my neck, I have had the worst neck pain, and it will not release. It just is tight as a tick. It's like a vice grip on my neck, and I just don't feel good. And I know it's all these energies. Well, what started to happen is, interestingly, yesterday, I just heard loosened the grip. That's exactly how I felt. Okay, they just said loosened the grip. Oh, what they're showing me, okay, this is interesting. You might relate to this. Loosened the grip, they're showing with my neck. Okay, loosened the grip. When they loosened the grip, they let the flow start. This flow of this new energy. And, okay, so maybe some of you can relate to this. Like, the sensations you had over the last few days building up to actually the day of Lionsgate 8/8. We know the energies extend past that, but I get the loosening of the grip. It's almost like now they're showing a dam, almost like they opened up the dam, but not in a way, in a in a more of a gentle way, but it does depend on what you've been doing in your journey. We're all experiencing these energies, and the thing is, we're going to experience them all in different ways, but there's a very much a physical feeling that can happen and or emotional feeling that can happen. But here we are right now. Guess what? We got a super full moon on Thursday. I think it's the last of a bunch of super full moons that we've had. This is a big week. I just want you to know, it kind of feels, oh, they just said like you're holding your breath. I agree. Like you're holding your breath. It's like this big wave of energy that is something interestingly starting in August with these energies that came in for Lionsgate. Oh, wow. In August, they're showing like a, how do I want to say this? It's like a bridge to the supermoon. And remember, it's going to extend out through August. It's like holding our breath this week. We kind of feel like we're holding our breath this week. Oh, I just heard like waiting for something to happen. Oh, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Boy, I don't know what this means. Maybe we have this in our own individual journeys, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And again, you go back to my August energy update. I'm not going to repeat everything because it's connected to this, obviously. Listen to that if you haven't, and you might want to listen to it again. But what I'm getting is waiting for the other shoe to drop. Okay, and see, we're going through the spin cycle. Okay, that feels like a collective thing, though, waiting for the other shoe to drop. I don't know what that means. It feels like something in the collective journey may unfold. I just heard unwrap. Well, I don't know what that means. Unfold and unwrap. Unwrap the bindings on the collective. Whoa, okay. I don't know if it's something we'll actually see or if it's behind the scenes. And again, it could be energetic, but okay, the unbindings of that humankind have been in. You know what they're showing? Wow, they're showing like handcuffs that the collective has been in. Oh, a big deep breath. Okay, this is part of what these energies are doing as we are riding this wave through the end of August, unbinding us, unhandcuffing us, and we've talked about that. But this is collective, okay? This is collective. What they're talking about in August, they talked about the individual journey, right? But we're all going through this tumbling of the washing machine and the spin cycle and the centrifugal force, spitting out, and then leaving. What centrifugal force does is, one viewer said, and I'm not going to explain this right, is it leaves mass behind. Anyway, I'm not going to try to explain that, but whoever explained it did a nice job. So check out those comments on my last video. But point is we're waiting for another shoe to drop in the collective. We're going through the individual journey, through the tunnel, but there's something going on in a big way, collectively. Feels like we're holding our breath this week. I don't mean it in an anxious, frightened, scared way. That's just not what we do. As light workers, remember that. That's not what we do. We could talk all day long about fear, and we've had conversations about this before, but we know in the collective there's a lot of fear. It feels like the collective's holding their breath. It feels like there's another shoe that's waiting to drop. Maybe that's just what the collective energy is, right? I don't know whether it will be actual manifestation. Anyway, so I just want you to know if you're feeling off or weird or strange. I mean, this may seem obvious with all the energies that are happening with Lionsgate and with August. Just know it's natural. You may clear and experience this through your body. Like for me with my neck, I'm very connected to my physical body, so I know what to do to ease things up. Doesn't work. None of it works for this neck. Like I'm literally held on like a vice grip from here on down. Now, granted, it's gotten better literally in the last day. But what I will tell you is usually your typical methods of easing your like discomfort in your body, they don't really work. At least they don't for me. So, and then of course we have the emotional side of this. A lot of tough emotions. Lean into it, let it go, cry, do what you need to do. But know that as tough as it gets, this is going to pass. Okay, this is going to pass. This is going to pass. I feel like the peak for a lot of people was yesterday, and like, okay, I just heard had them on their knees. I actually know a couple of people had them on their knees, absolutely. And then it like boiled over, it popped. They're showing a lot of different things. The tea kettle boiled over the top. And They made it through. I mean, they're seeing it for what it is. And when we understand that it's energetic, it's not just you. It's not just you going through this. It makes such a difference. But we're never told these things. We're never told these things, that we're affected by all this, right? And now we're learning this in this awakening journey. And it's so incredibly powerful to know that, oh, this is why I feel the way I feel. Oh, I'm clearing. Oh, I'm let the last residue spit out of, me being in the washing machine in the spin cycle, right? It helps so much to understand, and not that you're the only one going through this, and that's part of the natural process. But it's so hard because most people, a lot of people, don't know this, and they're going through this journey. We're all going through this journey, right? But the thing is that nobody has frame of reference for it. So what I would say to you is, if you sense that people are suffering now and they don't know they're going through awakening, they're not going through awakening, however you want to term it, you can speak to this in the terms of the cosmic energies. You can speak to Lionsgate. You can speak to the astrology behind this in general terms. And when I talk about the astrology, I'm not an astrologist. I know enough to be able to say to somebody, it's the energies. Here's what's going on. And then I explain the eclipses in a very layperson's terms. I mean, everybody knows there's moons, right? Everybody knows there's a sun. Everybody knows there's a solstices typically, right? So I talk about that. Yesterday I helped someone immensely that basically is my shiatsu practitioner. And what I ended up doing was saying, this is why you're feeling this way. Let me explain to you why it is that you have felt off the last few days. And all of a sudden it was like a light bulb went on. Okay, that makes sense. So you may be able to help others out during these times when we have this. I'm just speaking in layperson terms about what's going on in the cosmos. Okay? So I'm going to switch on over, and I'm going to go over and I'm going to draw something that I want to be able to share with you today. So we're going to transition over right now. Okay, this is not going to be a beautiful video out walking around. I was going to do it walking around, but I thought, no, I need to draw. So anyway, what I want to talk to you about today is something that came to me so that I could obviously ultimately share it with you, but for me to be able to understand where I place my energy. Okay, because remember, in this journey, what we're doing is we're deciding where we place our energy day to day, because we are energy beings, but we also can get tapped out, and we also need to be replenished. All right, so this exercise has helped me really visualize, because most of us, or many of us, are very visual. And when we take the time to write it down and we see it, then we can start acting upon it, okay? Rather than just kind of wandering, saying, yeah, I put a lot of energy into this and blah, 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 and, not really understanding what it looks like in the big scheme of things of your life journey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw what's called a hub-spoke model. So if you've ever heard of this in the business world, hub-spoke model is used for different reasons. I'm using it differently today. So what we're going to do is I'm going to draw, so I don't know, you're going to, I guess, see my backside for a while, but needless to say. So what we've got here today is, hopefully you can see that. I think you can. Let's make that a little bigger. Okay, this is beautiful you. This is you, okay? That's you. We're going to move this a little closer. Let's just do this. Yeah, I think. All right. So anyway, this, like I said, this is not a production. So it's just gonna look very homemade, and that's the beauty of it, right? All right. So we have you. You're the hub, okay? When you think of hub and spoke, you're the hub. It's where everything kind of starts from, right? Now, what I want you to do, and I'm gonna make these up, but they're mostly from my journey over the course of my lifetime. They don't necessarily apply now, but I'm just gonna throw some things in. Because I've been here a while and I've had a few experiences and I spent my energy in many places, and frankly, now, it's a little different for me, but I thought it would be a great opportunity to show you the actual diagram that you can use to understand expending your own energy and where you want to expend energy. Okay, so we're going to draw, guess what we'll do is we're going to use the orange for the spokes. Okay, so what I'm going to use here is the example of where, over the course of my lifetime, and you're going to want to do it for what's happening right now, okay? But I am going to act like all of these things are still in my vortex, even though they're not, but they might make it more interesting for you. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw the circle of you. You're the hub of energy. This is you. But where does your energy go? Where does your energy go? That's what we're doing today. Okay? So I'm going to write down the first bubble for me. Okay, we're going to start with the big one, where I spent most of my energy over the course of my lifetime from, honestly, a very young age. And that was relationship. And I am talking romantic, partnership, relationships, okay? Many, many years. Many, many years. Okay? Now, again, I'm talking partnerships. I'm not talking family. We're going to get to that. You could do this any way you want. I'm just giving you my example of how I've done this. You could really break it down further. Okay, so relationships. This for me meant romantic relationships. And not to get into my whole life journey, but I'm going to tell you right now, I spent a lot of energy, on building romantic relationships. Some that served me, others that didn't. But again, that's a life journey. So, I want you to indicate your first one, okay? And we're going to put an arrow, and then we're going to come back to these. You can, again, do this any way you want. Okay. What's another one for me? A big one. Work. Work, 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 work. I spent most of my life to date, well, just into the last 5 years, of creating a career for myself that I thought defined me. I talked about this in the last video, where I realized it really didn't define me as much as I thought. Thankfully, right? I didn't have to extract myself from that kind of understanding of the label of me being the person who was out in the work world, right? But needless to say, during that time, you would have thought I did. So we all do that to some degree, but mine was a trajectory. And guess what? I expended so much energy here thinking it was defining me, but that's a whole other conversation. Fortunately, it wasn't. So we're going to come back to these. But anyway, work. Huge for me. Huge for me. Now remember, this is across my lifetime. You guys are doing this as I did. Where you're spending your energy now. Okay, we're going to talk about where the energy is coming back to. So now we've got another one. You can have as many as you want, and what I will tell you is you can have subsets. You can do this, like I said, any way you want. But what I would say is you can have subsets of this, because what we're going to get down to here, where do you spend most of your energetic time? For me, one of the big things was my physicality, I guess I'll say. My physicality, my being in shape, okay? Working out. You're not going to be able to read this. Being in shape. Okay? That was huge for me. Fortunately, that always felt like a positive thing. However, I'm going to do this throughout my lifetime and just give you an indication of kind of overall, or all these years, where I've spent my time. Okay, so you're going to probably know a little bit more about me, needless to say. All this has shifted and changed, obviously, since then, since the awakening. And that's the other cool thing to do. You can do this for your history, right? You can do this for certain stages of your journey, and you can do it now, all right? So that was a big part of who I was. Always making sure that I was fit, I was in shape. You know, I was a tennis player when I was young. I was used to being athletic. That was always a big part, which I am grateful for. Okay, so another one. Remember, this is romantic relationships. Okay. This one is friendships. Okay. Friends. Talk about that later. And you can really break these down differently. So here's one, and I'm going to put this down, and there's a lot of categories in this. I'm going to call it social media, or the internet, news. It's all media, okay? Social media or media. External influences, things online, social media. So we're just going to title it that, and then we'll come back to that. Okay, I am going to put one more thing. Oh, this is a good one, okay? Fun. It's hobbies, it's anything. Again, yours is going to look different, right? But let's just use this for me. Now, granted, you could have a whole lot more of these, but this is just trying to give you the idea. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to go back and you're going to look at these arrows. And you're going to start to assess, by drawing arrows, how much of your energy of you goes to that, okay? And we're going to come back and do how much energy comes back to you in those. All right, you can do this a lot of different ways, like I said, but this is just one way I was doing it. Age 19, and it just continued all the way up until, honestly, when it didn't, and then I moved into my own journey, all right? And that's not saying you can't have your own journey, right? Your own spiritual journey, being in a relationship, but what I was doing was this. I was doing this. I was doing this. Everything. My energy, my focus was on building. Look, notice all the arrows. Okay, that's pretty visual, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, let's move on. Work. Again, I thought it defined me. Thank God it didn't, but all I'm going to say is the amount of time and importance that I put in. And remember, I'm talking over my lifetime. All right? Well, certain phases in my life. That's what this is. You can do it this way too, but I would say do it where you're at right now. Okay? Mine wasn't as interesting if I didn't do the earlier journey. Okay? So you're going to want, the whole point of this is do this now. And you could do a look back, but do this now. Where are you putting your energy? Okay? Because part of this awakening journey is calling ourselves back to ourselves. We've been externalized for so long, right? Do this, do that. Put your energy here, put your energy there. Pay attention to this, pay attention to that. And then guess what? There's nothing left for ourselves. So this is a great exercise. Work, 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 work. Well, guess what? One of my biggest lessons in this journey, this spiritual awakening journey, for me, and I used to get signs and messages, was balance. I have to have a balanced life. I didn't have a balanced life back then for all those years, right? Carolyn is spending most of her energy on romantic relationships and work. Yes, I was. Okay. My physical, and we're just going to, for me, my energy that would go to this, I'm going to say a 2. That feels healthy. Friends, okay. Not great at this. Not great at this. Never have been. Well, that's not true. I very much was in high school. And then after that, I kind of just came into my own. The energy that I put into, and this is a good thing to think about. Okay, so you're putting, this part for me brings this up. So I'm putting energy into friends, right? But was I putting too much energy in for myself and expecting too much of myself for who I actually am? Was it comfortable for me or not? So I had a lot of energy going into friendships that, again, really like digging in to assess this, like, did it serve me? And we're going to come back to that, okay? All right, social media, that's been fairly recent. So it hasn't been like a lifelong thing because I grew up in the era where we didn't have any of that, which, you know, you can argue was kind of nice. Okay, so social media over time, I am not. Honestly, I would have been one of the last people I would have expected to have a business that's online, and I'm on YouTube and all that. Well, I love it, but isn't that interesting? But I'm not on social media a lot, okay? Now, what I'm going to say is this also for me includes the news. So off of each of these spokes, you can have another hub, okay? And then you can really get down to the detail, okay? So let's just say we've got the news here. Guess what? Guess what? I was a freak for the news for years. I was really involved in politics, and I remember thinking, oh my God. And I would get whipped up days over catastrophes and political stuff, and for a long time. So my amount of energy in the media category was obsessive for many years, okay? And it did not serve me. I'm just going to tell you. Again, you're going to find out, does it serve you or not? How do you feel about this? How do you feel? Okay, so look at that. So you can do these interesting little hubs off of this, and you're going to find where you spend most of your time Your energy. What are you putting your energy toward? And then what's it bringing back to you? In my case, and we're going to go through these, in my case, this was not offering me anything back at all. I mean, yeah, I got some information out of it, but all I did was get stress. So what kind of energy are you getting back? Well, guess what? The energy I was getting back was big red flags. Okay, well, and it wasn't good energy. So you can mark the good energy coming back. So in this case, I'm not going to put any down. I didn't get any good energy back. All right, all I was doing was giving it away to the news, and it changed me. It affected me. It affected my vibration before I even knew what vibration was. Okay, so I would say to you, take those categories, break them down very specifically, and then you're going to draw arrows. Okay, remember, think about how you feel. Think about how you feel. Not so much maybe even, how do I want to say, the amount of time you put into it, but the amount of energy. So this is a little different. It's not, for example, like we're going to use me playing tennis. I played 5 times a week when I was obsessed again, and I would play for 2 hours at a time. That's a lot of singles tennis in a week. And I did that for a number of years, 5, 6, I think, 7, maybe even more. But the thing is, I loved it. It felt so good. I got a ton of energy back from it. Yes, it was a little obsessive, and I needed to balance that out. And in the awakening journey, that has happened because I've learned to appreciate walking and things like that. Anyway, my point in this is, for me, the energy coming back was just fabulous, right? So again, assess each one of these individually, and you're going to see how it balances out. And when you have things like this, where the news sucks the life out of you, guess what? Time to make some change. So we're going to go through a little bit more of this. I mean, I know you get the point of this, but I want to kind of show you how this plays out. So now we're at fun, and that has really made me look lately at this. Over my life, you know how I did the video on play not too long ago and how they want us to play? Well, most of us have a lot of struggle with doing fun things. What is fun? Oh, by the way, I've got a book. Hang on, I need to share this with you. Okay, I have the book. Can you believe this? I'm reading lots of books lately, but here I'm talking about fun, and I actually have a book, and it's called The Power of Fun. Read it. I'm just going to say it talks about what our cultures have done to us with respect to, it's this whole thing around where do you put your energy? Where do you put your energy? So it's called The Power of Fun. What's it say? How to Feel Alive Again, Catherine Price. Okay, that's what it looks like. So now that we're on the topic of fun, as one of my categories, didn't do well at this at all. Like having fun. My fun was super narrowly defined, in the young years, and, going out and having a few drinks and dancing and partying, and yeah, I like to have that kind of fun. That was fun. And that's fine that's fun, but there's a lot more that's fun out there. And so traveling, that was fun for me. Did a lot of traveling, have done a lot of traveling over my lifetime. Oh, I'm just going to say I had this, I'm so productively minded, I have been over my lifetime that, look at that. I'm going to have to leave that there. I haven't done this, by the way. This is the first time I've done this. So I'm kind of cursorily doing it, but this is opening up some awareness for myself. So when you don't put anything into fun and play and hobbies and things like that, there's no way to get anything back. There's nobody giving it to you, and we're not putting something into fun. So there we sit. Okay, there we sit. All right. And again, you can do the whole thing of like, and maybe what I need to do is say, okay, well, over my lifetime, since I'm doing over my lifetime, we have a hub here, right, of, let's just say, drinking and dancing, the bars, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, right? Just that whole social scene, right? Well, guess where my fun energy was going? It was all here. It was all here. And there's a lot of that didn't serve me. Okay? So that's something to look at, right? Again, you can do this any way you want. If you're doing it today, this will really help you kind of make some new decisions for yourself moving forward. What better time to do it than in Lionsgate, right? Like, we're getting spit out, like I said in the last video. Assess this and then say, wait a minute, because we're coming back into balance. It's about balance in our journey to have inner awareness of how we actually either benefit or don't benefit from what we do every day, who we're around, what we choose to do. And you can shift and change. We're in manifestation energy like nobody's business starting in 2022, really, right? And so what we're doing is we've got to get ourselves in balance and ready for these things that are wanting to be offered to us, okay? So this is a really good exercise for that. All right, where else are we? Okay, what we're going to do now, I know it's getting longer than I thought. I thought it was going to be 15 minutes, but it's not. We're going to go ahead and mark with a red what we get back. Okay, what did Carolyn get back from the what I'll call romantic relationship category? Now, spiritually speaking, lessons, oh yeah, galore. I'm talking about human energy we are expending, all right, and the way we expended it. Not that, oh yes, I learned the lesson from that relationship and he learned that and we needed to be together. I get that. But I'm talking about, well, maybe I should have cut the cord a lot sooner with that relationship, because guess what I was doing, all right? I was expending so much energy there, as we've seen. Relationships getting back, I'm going to tell you right now, here's where I've been. And that is an honest look at this, okay? That's an honest look at that. So that says to me, oh my Lord, let's look at that. Let's come back. Let's look at that. That's a big one, right? Work. Okay, this is a little different. I got a lot. Probably gave more than I got. In fact, I know that now that I think about it. But I got a lot out of this. I made lifelong friends. I worked at wonderful companies. I had fantastic opportunities. I had a great career. And I'm talking, when I decided then to quit all those years later in the building of my career and start in my awakening journey, which then led to my wonderful business, Purple Rain Healing. So I'm not talking about that right now. This is all the other years of work. So a lot going in, a lot coming back out. It really served me, but I put a lot of hours in too. So that's kind of that fourth one. That's kind of the unbalanced part. Physically being in shape. I'm going to tell you right now, honestly, and sometimes you get more than you put out, right? And you just find that equilibrium of what you put out, and what you get. Oh my gosh, but guess what? If you can put out like a certain amount of energy and you get all of this beauty back, oh my gosh, how wonderful is that? That is where I have been. I'm going to draw 4 arrows with the physical part of this. By me putting energy into the being in shape, the physicality part, big part of my journey, I have reaped massive rewards, okay? So this is cool, right? How cool is that? Even though I had a little bit of an addiction phase. So then we have friends. I have close friends, but I have a handful of close friends. I have a lot of acquaintances, all right? But what I would say is, honestly, it's pretty equal, okay? It's pretty equal. I get what I give. I get what I give. I always say that about our spirit team, our angels and our guides. It's like any other relationship. You've got to build the relationship. You got to give something and then they give something. It's not a one-way street, right? But same just in human relationships and friendships, all right? So this has been good. This is nice and balanced. We got a lot of unbalance here. Imbalance, I should say. Interestingly, the rest of these are balanced. Social media work. All right, we had an issue here early on in my journey. All right, big issue. I rebalanced that tremendously. The awakening journey did it. And I'm going to tell you right now, one of the biggest things, if you're just starting on your awakening journey, the spiritual awakening journey will shift and change things even if you're not trying. I will have to say, I think it makes it a whole lot easier to come to the party and to listen and to say, whoa, I'm getting these signs and messages. Whoa, this doesn't work for me anymore. Ooh, I don't feel like I want to watch the news. Instead of saying, no, I'm going to watch the news because I need to be involved and I need to be aware. The spiritual awakening journey is going to help you with all of this. But it's important for the human to come to the party to understand. And when you visualize this and you see this written out, it's amazing. You can do this for all stages of your life. You could do this like I'm doing it just to show you over the course of my whole journey, okay? But very importantly, do it now, all right? And you can assess it then as you go over the years. We already talked about fun. How much was I getting back from the kind of fun? So what I'm going to show you is how you can actually do it this way too. So we've assessed here For me, this is where a lot of my fun was put, travel, but it was in the later period of my life. The energy that's helpful to me, remember, this is helpful energy to me coming back from dancing and bars and that whole social life. I'm just going to say nothing good came out of that. And, you know, those college years, it just goes on and on, right? So overall, they didn't serve me at all. Okay, so if that was happening to me today, guess what? I would be looking at that big time and saying, oh my God, I spent so much energy there. I spent so much energy. What do I get back from it? No, nothing but just, you know, the difficult times the next day, right? Okay, so that, I have two things. Like if I look at the course of my lifetime, I would have worked on, which by the way I have, just so you know. Travel, on the other hand, how cool is this? Look at this, and this is all in the fun category. Coming out is so much energy. This is one of my favorite things to do, which is probably where I should spend more of my time, which I'm trying to do. Wow, this is really an interesting little journey I'm having here with sharing it with you, because like I said, I haven't done this. I did it in my head, and it's totally different to do it on paper. And I know this is ugly, but what I would say is, again, this is a very quick, I would do this, I think, much more detailed, obviously, than what I just did it. Spend some time on it, make it fun. And you can do different versions of it. Look at this. Travel is my jam. Travel is my jam. And it brings me more energy. It brings me more energy. Remember, we're replenishing ourselves through what we do. We don't just give our energy away. But most of us have, in one category or another. Now, your categories are kind of going to be different, potentially, right? I should have family in here. That's another one, but we're just trying to give you an idea. I do have a family I pay attention to. Fun. Okay, so just in summary, real quickly, so I can close this out and you can do your own little project. Relationships. Ooh, not romantic relationships. Now you need to revisit that. How that's going to work out. Guess what? The awakening journey brought that one to me. Yes, it did. Never thought about it before. Brought it to me. I have been working on that. Let me tell you. Been working on this. This is so interesting. I'm just receiving big revelations. I hardly drink at all anymore. In fact, I don't really drink. I can't drink. I just can't. I can't drink. It was actually one of my desires to just don't make me want to have a beautiful beer on a Friday night. Thing is, this has gone bye-bye naturally. And this, I'm doing more of. Wow. Okay, I'm kind of blown away. This has come into balance, the physical part. Okay, I'm on the fly, I'm going to say to you, what I would do now that I've done this with you guys, and I'm going to go actually do it very specifically. I would start with your now. Where are you at now with the energy, regardless of where you're at in your awakening journey, or even if you don't even think you're awakening, you just happened on this video. Where are you putting your energy? Where are you putting your energy? It's your energy. I don't mean necessarily your time. Energy and time can be different. And then what are you getting back? Now, in the present moment, with what you got going on in your life. And then what I would do is, and I realize a lot of you aren't as old as I am, so there's not a lot of history to look back on, but then take the whole picture, and over the course of time, you might even add some that you don't have now, and look at where you put your time, your energy, not time, okay, not time, it's energy, all right? Where you put your energy, because you're going to feel, you're going to know, because you're going to remember how you felt, all right? So tap into how you felt. Tap into how you feel when you're doing present moment, all right? So that's what I've got for you today. So I hope you've enjoyed this today, and I hope you take something away from this hub-spoke model, where you place your energy, because as we know, everything is energy. You are energy. Everything you give away is energy. Is it any wonder you maybe feel depleted over the course of the day? Where are you spending your energy, and where you bring back more in that helps replenish you? So thank you so much for joining me today. I'll leave you with my services, purplerainhealing.com. Check them out for all channeled services that I offer, which include distance energy healing and one-on-one spiritual awakening mentoring to help you regularly over the course of time in your ascension and awakening journey. So that said, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video.